Hello everybody, Tyrone the God 3 here, and welcome to Spooktober Reviews. As you all know, if this month is October, and I decided what better way to celebrate the month that holds the scary holiday known as Halloween by reviewing some very horrific anime. I decided to go ahead and do some one-shot reviews, like I said I was going to do before, of various anime that I saw, but I decided to put a theme behind them because it's October, and October is obviously the month of which Halloween takes place in. So I decided to go ahead and take this month in order to review several different anime that are viewed as scary, horrific, or very creepy and mysterious. It also gets to show off the anime library of things that I've watched over the years and how I feel about them. I won't be going into spoilers for any of these anime that I'm going to be doing a review of. However, I will be saying a lot of things about them in detail and more or less my thoughts and feelings on them. This review will be more or less for the audience viewers of those who haven't seen these anime before because these anime aren't frequently seen throughout the whole media, and it gives everybody a chance to expand upon their anime library, like I have. These are some very interesting anime that I've ran into that mostly drive into like a mystery or a scary plot of some type that is very engaging and nice to watch when you're very bored. It's nighttime and you're looking for a nice little creepy scare. The first up on our Spooktober reviews will be this anime, known as Another. Now, the title of this anime is very weird, but I guess I should probably get into some history about this anime. That way, a lot of people will know what it is. In 2012, a horror anime by PA Works was directed by Tsutomu Mizushima. Sorry if I botched the name. It's actually based off a novel written by Yukito Ayatsuchi. And this anime was basically known to be a very creepy, horrific like mindset of an anime due to the fact that several different themes and overall the atmosphere of this anime was very creepy. Lack of music or very little music, which was very silent and creepy-esque, surrounded this entire anime. And like I said, just the overall atmosphere, the art style, the use of several motifs and things like dolls and puppets and mannequins were used all over the place in order to scare those who maybe have a fear against dolls, puppets, and several things like that. It also followed the motif of death. So, we can get a little into the summary, and I'm not going to spoil anything, so don't worry. The story follows a boy named Kiyoshi Sakakibara. Sorry if I botched the name again, but Kiyoshi is a boy who transfers to a middle school known as Yomi Ayama. Yomi Ayama. Sorry about that again. I'm getting horrible with the names, but Yomi Ayama Middle School. And since he's transferred there, he's been meeting several different newcomers students that are all in the same class as him, one of which includes Mei Misaki. Mei Misaki is a very peculiar girl in the fact that she doesn't really talk much to the other students in her class, and the desk that she uses, as well as the entire classroom that she has in general, more or less ignores her, as if she wasn't there in the first place. Everybody pretty much recognizes her as not existing or not being alive. She's in the classroom, but nobody in the world will even acknowledge her in any type of way. It's almost to a point where Kiyoshi is the only one who can actually see her. Or at least that's what they would have you think. They ignore her for a reason, but it's a reason that I don't want to go too much into. Overall is the fact that there is a mystery behind it. Long story short, there's a lot of people related to the characters or in the same classroom as the characters or have some relation to the characters who keeps dying throughout the entire series. The series in itself is about 12 episodes long, so it's not even a long anime. So it's something nice for you to watch about for 2 days straight. At least I was able to marathon it in 2 days straight and was able to watch the whole thing. And that was only because that was in a sit-through area. If I really wanted to, this entire anime can be done in the entirety of a day. Overall, the mystery in this anime is to find out exactly why these killings keep happening. The episodes will basically get into detail about why the killings happen, but overall, it's a Final Destination style type of killing with the characters. If you all have ever watched Final Destination, you'll know that characters keep dying due to some type of curse or some supernatural like order that's causing characters to get killed off left and right. And I gotta say, this is definitely not an anime for the faint of heart or those who quench when it comes to blood. A lot of the deaths here are very gruesome and it gets very graphic at times to the point that it can even be cringeworthy. However, it is something that's really good to look for when you're looking for a thriller or just a slasher type of anime where you want to see characters get killed off in the most brutal of ways. This gets really bad. Some characters end up getting slammed by a whole elevator, some get impaled by a whole umbrella, some get killed while in the middle of the water by being beat up by a motorboat. It's just very gruesome. Some deaths are more gruesome than the last, and it just keeps going and going and going. So, with that all being said, do I recommend this to you? Well, like I said, I wouldn't recommend this to very, very young viewers for the obvious reason that, like I said, it gets very bloody and gruesome. But if you're looking for a nice scare or a jump scare or some type of like chilling, quenching feeling after seeing a very brutal slashing death, then this is the anime for you. There's no episode for real that disappoints in this factor. However, I will give it one huge criticism that another has to bring. Another doesn't really compliment much on the characters themselves. I mean, there are characters in a supporting cast within the entire series, but other than Mei Misaki and the main character himself, the anime doesn't really focus on that many characters per se. I mean, the anime does focus on another character towards the end of the series, but her character development feels sort of shoehorned in at last minute. I mean, if you ask me, there's not much that's really divulged about any of these characters. None of them are recognizable, and I can't even remember the names of most of them due to the fact that, like I said, they're not really that memorable. The characters in this overall anime really needed the development, and 12 episodes given to an entire cast of characters in one setting isn't enough. There is an episode in particular that does focus on some of these characters in the sense of when they try to go into the mystery as to why people keep dying by trying to use the footage of tapes that they found later on. But other than that, there's no real compliment on the characters. Nothing about these characters really shines for real. I mean, they're there, they exist, but even the main character seems sort of bland and disappointing when you compare them to several other characters. Like I said, Misaki, sorry about that, is the only character that's really worth anything in this anime, and that's only because they make her so mysterious at the beginning. Another huge disappointment about this anime is the fact that overall in the first half and the second half there is a bit of a tone shift. While the overall anime keeps its same creepy death-like motif, it sort of changes towards middle of the anime once things start getting revealed later on. Characters start switching the overall way that they act, attitudes start to make a complete 180, things start to go in a weird direction. And in some cases it's good because it gives a false sense of security that things have lightened up, only so that they can become way more gruesome the second time around. But in other cases it's just jarring. Characters start to make complete personality changes, especially due to the fact that they didn't get much development in the first place, so it definitely seems out of place for some characters. Like I said, I won't get too much into detail, and like I said, these characters didn't make an impact enough for me to really care about them. Overall, I gotta say, this was a good anime, but it's nothing that you can really write home about. Another definitely didn't make its mark in my list of animes that I've watched, only due to the fact that it just needed more character development and it needed a more interesting plot. Don't get me wrong, the mystery behind the plot is very good, and it's a good anime. I thoroughly enjoyed it. However, if you were to ask me right now any of the moments from another that I specifically remember, I can only tell you about the deaths. And that's nothing else. I mean, the show focuses on the deaths and why the deaths happen, and the mystery behind it all is very cool. The fact that there is another character within the series that we need to figure out who done it basically pulls a big Final Destination like mystery or an episode of Clue or whatever. But in this case, it's just that's it. There's not really much to go outside of it. Like I said, the tone shifts and the things that carry around a motif of scare in the beginning of the series aren't exactly the same as the things that carry the motif of scaring at the end. Things that scared you at the beginning of the series don't even appear in the second half of the series, and it's sort of disappointing. Overall, when you find out the mystery, if you can find out the mystery before the actual series solves it for you, then not much is really going to be worth your time. Is it a good anime? Yes. It's definitely worth the sit down. I definitely do like the fact that it's only 12 episodes for one situation though, because it means it's short. Sometimes anime is good when it's short, and this is definitely a plus. If this were to be dragged out any longer, then it wouldn't make for a very good series for me, and I just couldn't sit through all of it. A nice 12 episodes is good for this particular anime because the overall revolves around the mystery of who is that extra student in the class. That's the overall mystery behind it, but the problem is how they get there. The thing about it is that this overall story doesn't really do much to flesh out any of the characters. So when you actually see a character get murdered, you have to really hope you gave a crap about that character before that character had died. If not, then it's just another body on the body count. Give another a look though if you want to watch a quick anime that'll give you quick scares and have you stopping and thinking about things. The ending overall is apparently a nice ending, but nothing that's too flattering. Overall, another's a good anime, not great, and it definitely scares you though, and it's definitely something that I would watch this Spooktober. So, with that said, I'll see you all then, everybody. Have a great Halloween. Tyrone the God 3 out.